Okay, so we stopped here yesterday. We need to match these up. So the easiest way to do that is pick a point, because remember, these are all slopes, right?
Right.
So when we see an x value, like when x is 0, what's the slope? When x is 0, right here, what's the slope? 0.
Yeah.
All the way up this. You see that?
Which one are you?
Oh, because my blue on blue doesn't work, bro? Sorry.
Oh, okay.
See here?
Yeah.
See that? Okay. So when I have my x is 0, my slope is 0. So x would be 0 and y prime would be 0. So which one would that fit?
2.
Okay, so let's try it. Okay, so at x is 1, the slope looks like, when x is 1, does that slope look like probably a 1?
Yes.
Yes. So what this one is saying is whatever x is matches my slope, doesn't it?
Yes.
See that? Okay, so now we've got a to 2. Now how do we want to do this? What do you want to look at for b?
The swoop B part?
What's the slope at 1? It says the slope at 1, -1 is 0, but I don't see that.
Because it looks like a straight line, right?
Oh, yeah. The slope at 1, -1 is 0. But it's also 0 at 0, 0, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it 0 at 2, -2?
And that whole line 0.
Yeah, the whole line is 0, right?
Yeah.
So which one would that be? The slope is 0, right? So y prime equals 0. And our x and y, well, our choice is y and x plus y.
Right.
So let's see. Right here, that's 0, 0. What's 0 plus 0?
0.
Okay, so 0 plus 0 is 0. That works. What about the next one? That's 1 plus -1. So 1 minus 1 is
0.
0. And then 2 minus 2 is 0.
That works out.
So that one is what?
1.
1. See how we're doing this?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you... So that would work for any line that you chose. Like...
Right. It's easier to find where slope is 0, because on the rest of them, I really can't. I can tell you whether it's positive or negative, but I can't tell you exactly what it is, can I? Or an undefined. Undefineds work great because you'd be dividing by 0, right? So you look for, when you're choosing those, you're looking for slopes of 0 or undefined. Make sense? So on the third one, we obviously know that it already has to be C, but let's go through and why is it C?
That's the one I said yesterday?
Yes, it is. What do you notice on this x-axis? On the x-axis, what are all my slopes?
0.
0. So all of those are 0, right? So y prime is 0. That's because that's my slope, right? And, well, what is the y value on the x-axis?
Also 0.
Also 0. So does that fit?
Yep.
See how we paired them up?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So now here comes our fun part.
Oh, no.
So I gave you scratch paper yesterday.
Yes.
Graph paper, not scratch paper. And you may use this for your slope fields. Okay? I know it's little squares, but I would not make each one of those 1, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I would. You make your call. Okay? So what we have to do,
Are we using this for our homework or for the notes?
you can use it for both. You can do your homework on it and then put it in your notes. Okay, so we have to sketch a slope field. They already gave me my derivative, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay, if they hadn't have given me my derivative, I'd have to find it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what we are going to do is we are going to use our calculator. Maybe not. No, we're not going to be able to. Okay, we're going to have to make a table. And you can put this on your graph paper or not. I don't care. Okay. And this table is going to have an X, a Y. Anybody guess what the next one is?
Y prime.
Y prime.
Okay, I think it's gonna be Y prime.
Okay. So we need to have X, Y, and Y prime. So we need to have from -2 to... This one went from -2 to 2. Okay. So we're going to go from -2 to 2 on the x-axis. And we're also going to go from -2 Oh, they just did -1 and a 1. Okay. So we're going to plug them in. So we're going to have -2 for the x. And we're going to have -1 for the y. But then we're also going to have -2 for the x and 1 for the y. See what I'm doing?
Not really.
Because this is a point, -2, -1, -2, or -2, 1. Those are points on the graph where we're going to draw the slopes. How do you decide? That's going to be just kind of our... sometimes I will say you have to go -2 to 2 on both x and y axes. Okay? So these are points.
Yes.
So when I'm graphing, so I'm going to figure out... So at -2, -1, right here at this point, I'm going to draw the slope, whatever slope I get.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
So you just kind of picked a point?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I usually try to do square. That's why I go -2 to 2. But didn't hear. Okay, so then we'll do -1. We're moving across the x-axis. -1x, -1y. -1x, 1y. Get what I'm doing now? Keeps highlighting it. And then I go 0 for the x. -1 for the y. 0 for the x, 1 for the y. 1 for the x, -1 for the y. 1 for the x, 1 for the y. Because this point is 1, 1. And we'll put our slope there.
Okay.
Okay, and then we got 2, -1, and 2, 1. See how I'm going across the x-axis. Right there. Now, if I'm doing the same as the book, I personally probably would have done -1, 0, and 1, because we totally missed the x-axis, didn't we? But, what?
So you just use the table, you started at -2, -1, just went all the way up
Mm-hmm.
to 1, 1. Why the 2s? Those are just...
This is the x-axis. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And we're going to go down to -1 and up to 1. This is going to be our slope field.
Okay. Those are like your... Yeah.
Okay, so now I need to find the slopes because that's what I'm graphing, right?
You could have started at like -3.
Mm-hmm.
Or just gone...
Yep. Like I said, personally, I usually go from -2 to -2. So I have a box that is 5 by 5. So 25 slopes.
Okay.
Okay. So to find the slope, I just plug in -2 for x, -1 for y into my equation. That's all I do. So that would be what? -4 minus 1 is
-5.
-5. -4 plus 1 is
-3.
-3. What would the next point be?
-2 plus what's the negative?
-3.
Okay.
And then I have -2 plus 1, so I would get -1. 0 for x, -1 for y, I get -1. 0 for x, 1 for y, I get 1. 1 for x, -1 for y, 1 and 1. 2 and -1,
3.
and 2 and 1, 5. Okay. So, mine's kind of small here. I wish I would have drawn it bigger. But at -2, -1, the slope is -5, correct? So, -5, I don't really know what -5 looks like, but I know that -5 is steeper than -3, which is the next one, isn't it?
Yes.
So, if this is -5, then this has to be -3.
Yes.
See a difference?
Yes.
You see, honestly, do you see that?
Point out -5 again.
-5 is down at -2, -1. Down here. Kind of went. So if that's -5, see -3 is not quite as slanted.
Yeah.
This isn't an exact science. It just has to be close. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then at -1, -1 is -3. So it should match. Come on, give me a segment. Well, it did it there. That's not what I drew. Woo, look at that.
That's interesting.
I should have just done this on paper. So now when I have the -3 and the -5 next to each other, can you see the -3 is not as quite as slanted as the -5? Not exact science, guys. And then a -1, 1, it's -1. So -1 should be even less slanted, shouldn't it? Can you tell the difference between -1 and -3? Right there. Okay. And then, let's see, I did -1, 1. So 0, -1, it should be -1. 0, 1, it should be 1. So it has to go which way?
The other way.
Up now. -1, 1, -1 should be +1. 1, 1 should be +3. 2, -1 should be +3. And 2, 5 should be, right, 2, 1 should be 5. Do you see how there's subtle changes?
Yeah.
Do you see that now? So then it would say sketch a point through 1, 1. So 1, 1 is right here. Yes?
Uh-huh.
So how would this graph look? Well, it's going to come down from up here, isn't it? And then it's going to come up and hit what? 1, 1 and go like that. See how I did that? Is this exact science?
Yep.
No, it is not. So is your table what I'm really going to be looking at?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, yes. Yep.
No, you're just gonna kind of look at the.
You're gonna
We
glance
get
at the
that
dashes and etc. And you're gonna say those are some cool dashes.
And your dashes, when they're negative, should go down. When they're positive, they should go up. And when they're 0, they should go
Straight.
straight. And if they're undefined, they should go vertical. Okay? Now, some person, if you had dot paper, this would be amazing.
Dot paper. Dot paper.
You know, like those dot journals that are like this? That would be amazing for slope fields, wouldn't
I
it?
have one of those.
Invent it.
It has mermaids
Even
on
though it probably does exist.
It does exist. I just didn't have any. Okay, that's it. If you look in the textbook, they have an amazing, it's a bigger, much bigger picture. And there is a way to make your calculator do slope fields, but I'm not quite sure how that works.
So 0 is horizontal lines and undefined is vertical.
Yes. And that's all I got. That's Monday and Tuesday's assignment. That's it.
Okay.
So now you guys got time to work.